What a win that was for Manchester United. A very, very good result away from home against a Crystal Palace side that Manchester United have not beat in years at Selhurst Park. And listen, there's so many positives to get into from that game. I think it was a much needed win for Ruben Amorim, a great comeback by Manchester United, and ultimately two great goals scored. Listen, I think immediately the way that we're playing right now is not sustainable. Yes, it's 5 wins in our last 7 games, our last 8 games now, I think, but still not good enough for Manchester United going forward. I think the first half was very, very poor, very sloppy. I don't think we looked good in possession at all. I think as the game went on, second half, obviously Palace got fatigued from playing midweek. And I think the intensity for Manchester United in that second half was very, very good. Let's not take that away, though, from how United did play in that second half. It was much more improved, way better intensity and quality from what we had seen in that first half. And I think that's something that was a massive improvement for Manchester United. So I think Ruben Amorim, we did see a lot of pressure exerted on him going into this game, but I think he got the job done. Now, in terms of Manchester United and in terms of Crystal Palace. Now, Palace, they were great the first half. Obviously, they scored the penalty, which again, listen, is poor from Lenny Yoro, but it is a guaranteed penalty. It is, and obviously the whole two-touch thing. It was the second penalty was deserved. Sorry, had to be taken. But in terms of United, I think there was a lot of good individual performances. I thought Zirkzee first half, he looked very, very poor. He looked of Zirkzee when he first came for United. He was struggling to get into the ball. His touches weren't landing anywhere. And he did struggle to get under the ball. But in that second half, flicks, touches, I mean, that goal is fantastic. Let's not take that away. It's a hard angle to score from. I think that's something that Zirkzee needed more than anything, especially now with Sesko expected to be out for a long period of time. I think he did massively need that, and it was a huge opportunity for him to today. And I think he did show a lot of praise and a lot of good performance. And I think going into the game next week now against West Ham, I think is a good opportunity again for him to start and get some goals. Now, in terms of other positives, again, I thought Shaw was very, very good today. I thought defensively we were very shaky at times. Obviously, Yoro, I did feel bad for the kid. He had to come off. I think it was the right decision to take him off. I think bringing on Mazraoui, a bit more experienced player with a bit more control on the ball as well. I think he had a very, very good performance when he came on. But yeah, I think individually there were some good performances in there. I thought Le Mans made a few decent saves. I think United should have scored more goals. I mean, the Mason Mount goal was fantastic as well. I think first half again was all about the fact that Palace were dominant, and I think the second half was much more United on top. Palace were fatigued. Palace didn't look of themselves, and I think that's where United really got into the game. And there were chances for Palace, mainly in that first half, not really too much in that second half. I think De Ligt again probably had one of his shakiest performances that we've seen so far in a United shirt this season. Um, Again, few unfortunate moments, but I thought Mateta probably did win the duel today. I think Ahmad got into the game, but we did struggle really to get Mbeumo into the game. Bruno obviously gets 2 assists. It was a great, well, it's set pieces. I think now we have, I think one less goal than Arsenal from set pieces. But I think the one thing that I learned from the game was the camaraderie from the team. I think the togetherness was 100% there, and I think we showed a lot of fight, a lot of togetherness from the beginning, and that's something that we haven't seen at Manchester United in a while. I think you look at the club, you look at where we were at in the last game against Everton, totally inexcusable. You look at today, it was fantastic. And as I said, Zirkzee, so happy for him. I think it was a wicked goal for him, and I think it was a very, very good strike. Again, we struggled to get Mbeumo into the game. I think that was just basis of Palace are just very solid defensively. But I think we've seen, listen, when you go system v system, it is going to be very difficult to find those sort of spaces. I think that's something that Manchester United struggled with. But it's a much needed win. United go above Palace in the table. I think that's 21 points now. Again, after a setback against Everton, I think this was something that we needed. And I think what we know is we're much more aggressive in that second half. The press was more intense. Bruno was like a madman, and I think ultimately Zirkzee, I think he's kind of the main thing to take away. It was a big goal for him and a big opportunity. So yeah, good 3 points for Manchester United. I think individually there were some good performances, but ultimately as a team, I think we came together and we had a very, very good result. I thought defensively, as I said, I was a bit concerned with how Yoro and De Ligt and how sometimes they were quite shaky on the ball, and we did get turned over quite a bit. But Palace, I mean, they couldn't really get Munoz and Mitchell into the game. I think Delo actually had a decent game. I think, again, couldn't get Munoz into the game, which meant kind of Delo he had less to do, and I think that was kind of the mainstay of the game. I think the low for me, again, had an alright game, but we talk about more individuals in the player ratings. But as a team, it was about getting a win. And it was something that Ruben Amorim needed more than anything. The 3 points today at a tough ground. That we haven't won that in a while. I mean, the last time was a 0-0 game. Before that, we got smoked 4-0. So I think this time it was very, very good to get the win. And thought we kind of held on well. I think looking at the way in which we defended, I mean, I can't remember when the goal was scored, but it must have been over 15 minutes where we defended well. And I thought, listen, we did have chances to get the second goal, but again, I think Amorim got it right today. And again, listen, there's only one game. We can't get too carried away, but it's a very, very good step in the right direction in terms of where we want to go. I think in terms of possession, United were on top for large parts of the game. Chance creation, I'd say United had more. But again, it could have really went either way. But I think United did deserve to get the win. It's now new momentum for Manchester United going into the next game against West Ham on Thursday. And it's another opportunity for Manchester United to kick on from here. We must use the momentum that we get, and we must bring it on into the next game, because again, it's taking it one game at a time, but it's all about now how we use it in this game, taking it to the next game, because West Ham ain't going to be easy. It's going to be a very, very tricky game. But in terms of overall thoughts, it was fantastic. Again, watching the game, it was frustrating at times. I thought the first half we looked very lethargic. I thought once that Mateta goal went in, I thought it would be 2-3-0, but I think we showed great resilience and fight in the second half to let alone not get one goal, but to concede two and then defend our box. I think one massive boost as well was Sandro Martinez returning. He only got about 10-15 minutes, but it was great to see him back out there and back on the pitch. But yeah, all in all, it was a great 3 points for Manchester United, a much needed result after the setback that we got against Everton. I think that was one of the most frustrating performances we've seen from United. But Palace, very, very good side. They don't concede goals, and most of their games at home have been draws. So for the fact that United to get the win is fantastic. And yeah, we move on to the next game, which is now, I believe, West Ham on Thursday. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Very happy with Ruben Amorim. I think he deserved to get the win, and I think he deserved the result, because United have struggled of late to kind of get wins. I mean, it's our first win now in 3 games, so I think this was much needed, and it's against a very, very good Palace side who don't concede goals and ultimately win a lot of games. They've beat Liverpool this season, they've beat a lot of good sides this season, and at home their form's been fantastic. But it was a great win by Manchester United, and what a win it was. Peace.